Now, the fisheries sector is warning fisherfolk who are against the fixed dates for the closed season in Ghana's fishing industry to cease interfering in government's decisions. Speaking during the launch of the 2019 fishing closed season in Accra, the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Elizabeth Afolikwe, says the dates were decided by most of the fisherfolk after several meetings with her outfit, and it'll therefore not be changed. Ifwa Evans-Chinri put together this report.
Close season is practiced in many fisheries management jurisdictions as a measure to improve the fishery resources. It reduces the excessive pressure on fish stocks and allows private fish to spawn in the peak season. It will be recalled that the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development intended to implement the closed season concept in 2018, but was met with strict resistance from the fishing community, which caused its suspension, calling for broader consultation towards implementation in 2019. The 2019 closed season for artisanal fishers has been fixed from May 15 to June 15, while that of industrial trawlers will take place between August 1st and August 31, 2019. Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Elizabeth Afolikwe outlined sanctions fisherfolk are likely to face if they should go contrary to the law.
A person who engages in fishing during a closed season declared, commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not less than $500,000 and not more than $2 million in respect of a local industrial or semi-industrial vessel, or 100 penalty units and not more than 500 penalty units in any other case, and in addition, any catch, fishing gear, or vessel, or any combination of them used in the commission of the offense may be forfeited to the states. Again, Subpart 1, Sections 42, 43, 44, and 45 directs how fisheries management plans should be prepared, and Section 42(1)(a) notes that any plan or decision making in the fisheries must be based on the best available science. Subpart 1 of the law is the basis of the National Marine Fisheries Management Plan, and Section 4.2 of the plan states that there shall be a closed season for all fleets.
She called on all Ghanaians to rise and say no to illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing and implement the closed seasons.
Now, this is curious. Even though scientists have indicated that the month of August is more appropriate to observe the closed season, the minister insists that fishermen can benefit from some minimal production, adding that traditional activities, including the celebration of festivals, informed their decision. She spoke at the same news conference this morning.
I must admit that we believe science has told us, and the fishermen themselves have also given us reasons to believe what science has told us. We work, the Fisheries Ministry is made up, and the Fisheries Commission is made up of people, fisheries scientists, largely made up of fisheries scientists. And so we work with science, we depend on science. It is true that the peak production period is within a certain period, which peaks in August. It peaks in August. So we would have expected that the closed season would have been for all the fleets, the inshore fisheries, the artisanal sector, and the industrial sector would have all agreed to do the closed season in August when there's peak production. Unfortunately, the artisanal sector believes that their festivals are really important to them. And so they chose the 15th of May to the 15th of June. The reason why we agreed with what the suggestion that they came up with is that there's some minimal production around that time. And the industrial trawlers exploit heavier the resource than the artisanal sector. And so if the industrial sector is doing their close season within the peak production period, which is August to September, then we believe that there's still going to be some benefits. And so the artisanal sector have decided to do theirs during the minimal production period, and the industrial sector, which exploits heavier on the resource, have agreed to do theirs in August. And we believe that there's still going to be some benefits. So this is the beginning of a very good program, a very good program within the fisheries sector. This is the beginning where the artisanal sector will, for the first time, do a close season. So we agreed with them to do it within this period, which will make them more compliant, so that in coming years, when they see the benefits accruing.
Now, when asked about alternative sources of livelihood, the minister noted that government cannot provide direct monetary or financial support to fishermen during closed seasons. Instead, the ministry would improve its supply of subsidized fishing inputs, which she believes will go a long way to improve their livelihoods.
The states we cannot go out and say we are giving out monies to fishermen. But what we can do is to improve our supply of the fishing inputs. Most of the fishermen do fishing the wrong way. Most of them do illegal, unreported, and non-regulated fishing. Chief amongst these bad practices is the use of light. The use of light and the application of chemicals to the fish that we consume. And we have engaged with them, and we know that the reason why most of them, especially within the artisanal sector, use light to exploit the resource is because they are not getting enough fish. And so they apply the lights to the fish, and the fish aggregates around the light, and then they apply chemical, and so they can scoop all the fish that aggregate around the light. And that is not good for the health of the consumer. And so when we bring them the approved fishing nets, when we bring them their outboard motors, when we bring them the fishing nets that are used to exploit the resource in the right way, then we believe that it will help to sort of rebuild the stocks. So our plan is to get them their fishing inputs so that after the close season, when they go to exploit the resource, they'll be exploiting it the right way. We will practically be taking out the bad fishing nets. They use some monofilament nets that are not good enough to exploit the resource. So we are bringing them the approved fishing nets. We'll bring them their outboard motors. We'll bring them their floats. We'll be supplying them with the right materials to use in exploiting the resource. At least that would give them some respite to be able to do their work. But we will not go out. I don't think the state has the resource to go out there and